Hey everybody, welcome back to Whiteboard Finance. My name is Marco and I'm here to help you master your money and build your wealth. In today's video, we're going to be talking about how to build wealth in a recession. So recessions, they come around every once in a while. We may actually be in one right now at the time of this recording, but what they do is they actually create massive investing opportunities for those who are well prepared. So we've all heard the Warren Buffett quote before, and it's really played out at this point, so please stop saying it, but I'm gonna say it anyway. Be fearful when others are greedy, and greedy when others are fearful. And that is 100% still applicable and true. So in this video, we're gonna talk about 3 asset classes to build wealth from during a recession. So before we dive into the 3 asset types that I want to talk about for building your wealth in a recession, it is paramount for you to understand how to measure your net worth and what your net worth even means. So when it all comes down to it, really rich and wealthy people, they don't look at each other and say, how much money a year do you make? What is your salary? No one cares about that. It's all about your net worth. This is the true eggplant measuring contest. Okay, so for those of you that understand what that means, you're probably cracking up. For those of you that don't, smash the like button. So anyway, net worth is basically just assets minus liabilities. That's all it boils down to, period. Yes, you can get cute with certain accounting and business net worth and things like that, but at the end of the day, it's assets minus liabilities. So let's take a typical scenario of a couple. This couple has a home worth $250,000. They have an investment portfolio with $100,000 in it, and they have 2 cars that are worth 25 grand total, okay? However, they also do have some liabilities that come with these assets. They still have a $100,000 mortgage left to pay on the home, even though the home is worth 250 grand. Their investment portfolio, obviously that's not a liability. And then the 2 cars, let's just say there's a $10,000 car loan on one of those 2 cars, okay? So this couple would simply take their assets minus their liabilities, and I want you to answer down in the comments below what this couple's net worth is. I'll give you some time here. You can pause the video if you want. So their total net worth is just simply 250 plus 100 plus 25K minus 110, giving them a net worth of $265,000. So with that being said, you now know how to calculate net worth, and we're going to move on to the first wealth building asset. Asset class number 1, okay? Real estate. Everyone knows this. Real estate has created more millionaires than any other asset class out there. So instead of giving you some weird, sleazy pitch on, you gotta buy real estate and here's these creative deals, what I'm gonna do is I'm actually just gonna give you a real life example of someone who I personally know. Can't disclose, not gonna disclose, but these are real numbers, okay? Obviously rounded a little bit here, but I know someone in 2013 that actually bought a bunch of HUD properties off the auction site that needed little to no upkeep or maintenance, very little repairs, and they're in B-class rental neighborhoods. He now owns about 5 of these, okay? So this example, the purchase price was literally $30,000. He probably bought them cash. The rent is now at about $1,000 a month, if not more. And then the property is actually appreciated from that $30,000 of when he bought it in 2013 to about $100,000 now. So let's dissect this. So you can either keep this property for cash flow, or you can sell it for a capital gain, okay? So it's either like flipping a house and making a nice big chunk of capital gain for very little skin in the game, or you can keep it as cash flow. If you wanna have 4, 5, 6 of these things, imagine having $6,000 a month of gross income coming into your pocket, minus some expenses. You can potentially be, quote unquote, financially free, passive income, margaritas on the beach, that whole thing, right? There's no headache whatsoever when it goes into owning rental property. It just runs itself. No, all joking aside, but this is one of the biggest wealth builders that you can take advantage of during a recession. Now, the cool thing is that this person now has a dividend that pays him, and they also have the ability to sell, as mentioned. Speaking of dividends, let's go into number 2. So number 2, the second favorite asset class in order to build wealth during a recession is with blue chip dividend stocks. So for those of you that are following my journey with M1 Finance, you can actually see my live dividend portfolio down in the link below, and you can sign up with M1 if you would like, or you can just follow along with my weekly polls that I have in my community tab. So the reason I like blue chip dividend stocks during a recession is because ultimately it's a great way to create passive income later in life. So this isn't a get rich quick scheme. This isn't something that you just wake up 5 years from now and you're a multi-millionaire blue chip dividend stock investor. This is something that's going to take a lot of time with a lot of reinvesting of those dividends. But the reason I like this during a recession is because the price per share has been cut significantly, even though the underlying companies are typically still solid, aka blue chip, not some fly-by-night company that's paid out dividends for 2 years, right? What we're talking about in my criteria is the companies that have raised their dividends consistently year after year, at least over the course of 10 years. Typically, I really like 15 and 20 and 25 when you're getting into the dividend aristocrats, but at least right here, we're looking for 10 years of dividend growth. With growth of the dividend, you're looking for at least 2%. The reason for this is because CPI, which I talked about in my other videos, aka the rate of inflation, has typically been around 2–2.5%, okay? So I'm looking for these dividends later on in life to at least keep up with the rate of inflation. That way my purchasing power is not being eroded. And then finally, we're looking for a PE ratio of less than 20. Typically, I'm doing 25 just to keep some skin in the game. That is getting a little bit pricey, but typically you want to look for a PE ratio of 20 or under. And then finally, sorry, I had one more piece of criteria, is low debt to equity, okay? The reason I'm looking for companies with low debt to equity is because you don't want to get into a company that has high financial leverage, aka Boeing, okay? We're all seeing what happened with Boeing. They're probably going to get bailed out and it's all going to be good, but you can't always rely on helicopter money post-recession, okay? So this is my criteria, and number 2 is blue chip dividend investing. So let's get into number 3 right now. How to build wealth in a recession. Asset type number 3 is precious metals. So this is not something that you're going to get rich from. Precious metals, however, are considered by many the only quote-unquote real money left in the world when they're comparing it to fiat currency. If you've watched all my other videos talking about the hardness of money, people like gold not because it's literally physically hard, it's actually a pretty soft metal. They like it because the hardness of money actually talks about the ease of creating money. If money is very easy to create, aka fiat money, aka the US dollar, you can just print it out of thin air, that is soft money. People like gold because it is a hard money. It takes effort to extract from the earth, and it takes you can't just create it out of thin air, okay? So it is typically considered a safe haven against inflation. So when countries or governments or whatever is just printing currency out of thin air, people like to have gold because, again, it is a hedge against inflation. And then finally, these prices typically go up in a recession. Historically, if you look at like the last couple of recessions or last couple of market busts, like the dot-com bubble or the '08 recession, gold actually went down a lot, and I believe silver did as well. And then they skyrocket after kind of like fear sets into the marketplace or into society. So you want to take a look at precious metals. Again, it's for building wealth and creating a well-diversified portfolio. It's not for getting rich overnight. And wait, there's one more bonus section. Invest in yourself. So this is the cliche, feel good, rainbows and unicorns and daisies, sky is, purple and everyone's happy. However, this is 100% true. You need to invest in yourself. So unfortunately, during recessions, people get laid off, okay? Unless there's like a $6 trillion stimulus package, but that could never happen, right? It's going through at the time of this recording. So typically when people get laid off, you have some free time, you're kind of, at first you're excited, then you're depressed, and then it's a whole mix of feelings depending on whether you can find another job or not. But ultimately what I've found is in times during extra time on your hands or times during recessions where you may get laid off, it's best to invest in yourself. So if you're laid off, learn a new skill, start a side hustle, spend some time forging relationships with your network that you may have neglected by being super busy throughout the years of just being employed. So go on LinkedIn. If you don't have a LinkedIn, create a LinkedIn. Start to connect and reach out to people and forge strong relationships. And also forge relationships with your loved one and your family members. Family that I've found is the #1 support network in times of crisis. So that's it, you guys. That's all I have for today's video. As always, if you got value from it, please share it with one friend, aka post it on social media so this channel blows up. For whatever reason, the algorithm does not have my channel in favor right now. Maybe it's because I'm talking about inflation, the Fed, the economy, things like that. And we all know that's a no-no. So with that being said, thank you so much for your continued viewership. It truly means the world to me. And as always, have a prosperous day. Invest in yourself. I can't believe they bought that garbage. It's almost like passive income. Oh, I think it's still recording.